Hello, hey guys, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine. Thanks for having me. Quick introduction on my end. My name is André, as you can already see. I'm one of three hosts of German-speaking horror movie podcast, Devils and Demons. And yes, we choose an English name for German podcast, which wasn't the best idea, but here we are. And
It's a great name. It's a great title.
thank you. And we're doing this since 2017. And every Friday, we release an episode talking about a horror movie or even entire franchise or doing interviews like today. And my first question is quite a cliche, but we asked our audience, what we should ask you. And a lot of people wanted to know, of course, if Ghostface would give you a phone call and would ask you, what's your favorite horror movie? What would that be? Maybe starting with Tyler.
Oh, start with Matt, because my answer changes.
No, go.
No, I mean, I think for me, it was horror was not something that I like really even knew how to define when I was younger. The movies that I think were always playing in the background at my house that I wouldn't even have known that they were horror films at the time when I was a kid were Alien, Terminator, and Predator. Those were like just always on. My dad in particular was a huge horror movie fan. So those three are sort of tied for me in terms of just the entry point, and they also all three hold up so incredibly well as monster movies and as slashers. I mean, they're like three all-time great movies.
Of course, it's hard. It's just if you would have to name one. Of course, this is a question basically. So
yeah.
Matt, what? It's fine. Three is also almost one, so it's fine. So Matt, what would be your pick?
I mean, and I think it goes for both of us, barring Scream, because it feels unfair. I mean, for me, it's Nightmare on Elm Street that was kind of my intro to horror. It was that and Aliens were like my way in, and Aliens obviously sci-fi more, but still. But yeah, the original Elm Street for me is just one of those movies I go back to all the time. I just love it. I still watching it now. I probably watched it a few months ago. I still can feel that feeling I had when I was a kid watching it and how just truly terrified I was. And fun little side fact that, I mean, Tyler, you've heard this a million times, but for the longest time, probably at least until I was like early teens, I just thought Wes Craven, because his name was so scary to me in the opening credits of Elm Street, was Freddy Krueger. Like for me as like a kid, I was not able to separate those two things.
Okay. Great. And like all these movies, did they also encourage you to become filmmakers in the end? And were they influences for you? Just from scratch on, yeah.
All these movies are the movies, like especially the ones Tyler listed, Elm Street. They're the movies we talk about endlessly. We talk about Terminator, Terminator 2, Aliens, like
they are
just daily.
Scream, like those are the things. Anytime we've made something of our own, those are the movies. That's the bucket of movies that we're always using to kind of communicate what the tone that we love and the style of filmmaking that we love.
The other one that gets thrown out a lot that is not as clear and obvious is we talk about this movie from 2001, Joyride, a lot, which is a personal favorite. It never quite broke through to be a gigantic thing, but for us, we love it. It's fun and funny. It does all the same stuff. Yeah.
We will do the whole trilogy in a few months. Yeah, it's already in our plan for this year. So yeah,
really
looking forward to this. Yeah, I also like them. But yeah, talking about, of course, your history of filmmaking. I mean, your filmography evolved a lot about the past 10 years, and following you since VHS to Southbound, of course, which I love, especially your episode and the one with the ambulance. Then, of course, Ready or Not with the amazing Samara Weaving, and now we have Scream. So your filmmaking evolved, and of course the budgets evolved. And already Ready or Not was not a small film, but now with Scream, of course, you got really into the big budget. So for you as a filmmaker, how was it to produce such a huge film now with the cast and with the crew and like this big production? Was it something you have to adapt to, or was Ready or Not already, or has it strengthened you already and you and your radio collective, Radio Silence Collective, into making this film?
It's a good question. I mean, I think there's always things you have to adapt and evolve to. But I think for us, one of the things that we really love about how we approach the process, and a lot of this has to do with the people that we love to work with and that we try to work with again and again, because we know because we know that there's going to be the right amount of friction,
Mhm.
is that you never feel like you have too much. I think we've sort of said that weirdly
Definitely not.
shooting Scream weirdly felt like, in a lot of ways, like a longer version of shooting Ready or Not, in the sense that, you know, we knew that we had to make really specific choices about what was valuable and really prioritize certain things about the story so that you can do everything that's on the screen as well as you possibly can, instead of doing the 90% version of the entire script. And for us, that's really important, you know, to have those limitations in place. It's really forces us to be creative and to think really intelligently about what's valuable. And for us, you know, that always comes from the characters. You know, it was what we loved about Ready or Not, and was our approach to that movie, really focusing the story through Grace's point of view. And then, you know, a Scream movie as well, also a large ensemble, but really trying to focus all of those scenes through the characters. And that, at the end of the day, is what makes those movies so memorable to us, is those characters and the relationships that they have with each other. And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's always bigger and more to wrangle when you have, you know, more gags and more departments. But, you know, for us, it was really about sort of approaching the process in as humble a way as I think we've always known how to approach it.
So you adapted to the project. Yeah. I mean, talking also about the production and the producing, Kevin Williamson was also, of course, one of the producers on the film. And he is the forefather, of course, of this stuff. He did basically, revival of the teen slasher genre in the 90s. Was there any major collaboration with him also on the set? And if yes, like, how was it to work with him on his vision, or how to work on his vision, basically?
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah, I mean, Kevin created this all out of his brain, right? And then, so he was integral. He was involved with the project before we were. The first thing that Jamie, who's one of the writers and one of the producers, did was get in touch with him and invite him into the process and ask for his blessing. And then Kevin got involved, and Kevin gave great notes. There was I don't think there's a draft that Kevin didn't read and give thoughts on. So he was a part of the process the entire way, and a very valuable part of the process. And it was humbling and a dream come true to be able to work with him, because he's like a hero of ours. And so it's just really amazing. And he was only on set for a little bit, but when he was on set, it was truly magical.
I think we always felt like his presence, weirdly. It was this thing
always.
where we knew Kevin was getting dailies, and certainly when he was on set. And I think that was a really valuable thing to just keep us like on our A game, you know, knowing that people who invested their lives creating this universe, that we had to do right by all of them. And that was an important motivating factor throughout the process.
Yeah, can you imagine that? And I mean, in the end, like, having all these people there, especially on this cast, you have this young, fresh cast with Jenna Ortega and Jasmine Savoy Brown, but of course you have this legacy cast, of course, with Neve Campbell, David Arquette, and Courtney Cox. How was it to you, like, as a filmmaker, to really bring these two generations of characters and also, of course, actors together? Was it a piece of cake, or how was it on set for you to bring these generations into one film?
I mean, I think we were surprised at how natural it was. I think it's the thing that we're most proud of, that group came together in the way that they did. You know, there were so many ways that, like, the sort of meeting of the minds in two different kind of generations of cast can go right and go wrong, and it went right in every conceivable way. I think part of that is just you know, Wes and Kevin, they built these movies around this real sense of family. And I think that's part of what makes this franchise so lasting, right? Is that we've lived with these characters, and their personal lives outside of the movie have evolved sort of in tandem with the evolution of the movies themselves. Yeah. And so there's a real love and a real personal connection to what these are. And you know, we also, when casting the new crop of actors, we wanted to make sure that the level of respect and reverence and love for these movies existed within that group the way that it exists for us. It was important that, you know, that we all showed up knowing that we were doing something really, really important, that we had a responsibility to uphold. And then everyone just got along so damn well. They're all just so kind and not only great at their jobs, but just really wonderful, wonderful people to spend time with. And I think we can genuinely say, like, no bullshit, that we came out of this movie with a really incredible new family of people that we just hope to work with forever.
I really think that the respect that the younger cast, the new cast, had such a respect for the original cast.
Yeah.
And then the original cast was so warm and welcoming and giving and welcoming them in, which didn't have to happen. You know what I mean? And it did. Yeah. And it was, I think we're just so lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. And it shows definitely. So yeah, we come to the end. Thank you so much for having me. Would you have like one last word to our audience, like a little glimpse of just what they should be aware of when they watch the new Scream movie?
I mean, if you watch it on Blu-ray or streaming or something, there's a lot of fun and extras, and we have deleted scenes on there and a commentary and a bunch of stuff like that. So that's fun. You can dig in and also rewatch it. We put a lot of fun things. We tried to make a rewatchable movie, so it's something that hopefully you can find new stuff in every time.
It's the thing I think we're most excited about with this release, is that people finally get to watch it over and over and over again, which was, again, like Matt said, by design, as intended.
Perfect. Then thank you so much for having me tonight and answering my questions. And
Thanks,
I wish
André.
you all the best with the movie and with future projects, of course. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.